She was the barefoot girl they all laughed at, mocked, ignored, and left behind. But years later, she returned with a secret so powerful it shook the whole village. Sit back and enjoy this emotional, addictive story of revenge, rise, and quiet victory. Lena walked barefoot on the dusty road. Her dress had holes, her hair was messy, and her hands were always dirty. People in the village laughed when they saw her. "Look at the poor girl," they whispered. "She can't even afford a pair of shoes." She didn't cry, she didn't say anything. She just looked down and walked faster. Every day she passed by big houses with tall fences. Inside, children were playing with toys she could only dream about. Their mothers would pull them away when they saw her. "Don't go near her, she's dirty," they said. Lena lived in a small mud house at the edge of the village. The roof leaked when it rained, and there was only one broken bed inside. She shared it with a sick mother. There was no father. He had left when Lena was still a baby. But Lena had something no one could see, a sharp mind. Every night, while her mother coughed and turned in pain, Lena stared at the ceiling and made plans. She watched how things worked in the village. She noticed which farmers had the best land. She remembered who owed money and who was greedy. One day, a strange man came to the village. He was tall, wore black shoes that shined, and carried a bag full of papers. He stood in the middle of the market and said, "I am selling land far away very cheap. It's a new place. Big city people are buying it already." The villagers laughed. "Why would we buy land in a place we don't know?" But Lena followed the man. She didn't have money, but she had an idea. She asked, "Can I work for you instead of paying?" The man looked surprised. Then he smiled. "You're brave. Okay, girl, you work hard and I'll give you land." Lena smiled. For the first time in many weeks, she didn't know how, but something deep inside her told her this was the beginning of something big. Lena carried bags, sorted papers, and cleaned floors for the land seller. Every morning she swept his small office. Every night she listened to how he talked to people about land, money, and cities. She learned everything. After 3 months, the man said, "You've worked well, Lena. You now own a piece of land. Not much, but enough to start." Lena's hand shook as she held the paper. It was hers, her land. She didn't even know where it was, but she believed in it. She walked back to the village, clutching the paper like it was gold. The villagers laughed again. Lena thinks she owns land now. Maybe next, she'll say she owns a car. But Lena ignored them. She sold her mother's old jewelry, the only thing they had left. With the money, she traveled to the city where her land was. It was empty land, dry and far from the city center. But there were builders there, big trucks, bricks, and tools. Lena watched and listened. One day, she asked a worker, "Who is building here?" "A big company," he said. "They're building houses and shops. This area will be rich soon." Lena's eyes widened. Her land was close by. She rushed to a lawyer and asked what to do. The lawyer helped her get more papers and protect her land. "If people try to take it, they can't," he said. "You're smart for coming early." Lena smiled. She worked hard again, cleaning, cooking, and saving every coin. She bought more land around hers, bit by bit, before prices went up. Back in the village, no one knew. They still called her Poor Lena. But soon, everything would change. Months passed. Lena didn't return to the village. She stayed near the city, working and learning. She made friends with builders, lawyers, and even a bank manager who told her how to grow her money. She lived simply, spending almost nothing. All her money went into land. Then one day, it happened. The company near her land announced they were building a new road right through the empty space beside Lena's plots. People rushed to buy land nearby. Prices shot up like fire. Lena walked into the land office and smiled. "I want to sell 3 pieces of land." They looked at her papers and said, "These are in the prime zone. You'll get a lot of money." They were right. The money she got was 10 times what she had ever seen. She could finally buy a real house, real clothes, even a car. But she didn't. Instead, she asked the bank manager, "How can I make this money grow bigger?" He told her to buy land in other poor villages like the one she came from. Soon, roads will go there too. Big companies are moving to smaller places. Lena nodded. She packed her bag and went home. When she walked into the village, no one recognized her. She wore neat clothes. She carried a black bag like the land seller had once carried. Her hair was brushed. Her shoes were clean. Old women whispered, "Who is that? Is she a teacher?" A young boy ran past and shouted, "It's Lena!" Everyone turned. Some laughed. Some stared. It can't be Lena. She was poor. Lena didn't stop. She went straight to the chief's house. "I want to buy land," she said. The chief raised an eyebrow. "You? Land?" She placed a thick pile of cash on the table. "I'm not poor anymore." The chief smiled. "How much land do you want?" Lena looked out the window at the wide village fields. "All of it." By evening, every farmer in the village had gathered. Lena stood tall in the center. "I'm buying your land," she said. Some laughed. Some shook their heads. "Why should we sell to you?" Lena pulled out her papers and maps. "Because I'll pay well, more than anyone else. And if you don't sell now, someone richer will come tomorrow and buy it cheaper." The villagers looked at each other. They didn't trust her, but they trusted money. One by one, they sold. Within 2 weeks, Lena owned half the village. The big fields, the riverbanks, the forest corner, everything was hers. But she wasn't done. She built a school first. "No child should sit at home because they're poor," she said. Then she built a small hospital for people like her mother who had suffered without help. People started to say good things. Lena is kind. Lena is smart. Lena made it. But not everyone was happy. There was a man named Mr. Paul. He had always wanted to own the village land himself. He was rich, proud, and angry. "How did that girl beat me?" he shouted to his driver. "I want that land." He went to Lena's house and banged on the gate. "Sell me everything," he said. Lena opened the gate just enough to look him in the eye. "No," he frowned. "I'll offer double." "No," she said again. "I didn't build this just for money." Mr. Paul gritted his teeth. "Then I'll find a way to take it." Lena didn't flinch. "Try." That night, her heart beat fast. She was no longer the poor girl, but now she had new enemies. She looked up at the sky. "I came this far. I won't stop now." Lena couldn't sleep. She stayed up thinking. Mr. Paul was dangerous. He had friends in high places. She had seen men like him before. They smiled in public and crushed people in secret. The next day she went to the city again. She met her lawyer. "Protect everything," she said. "Even my name." They signed papers. She changed how her land was listed. Instead of one name, it now belonged to a company she owned. That way, even if someone tried to trick her, they wouldn't know where to start. Mr. Paul sent people to bribe the chief. "Say Lena's land is fake," he said. But the chief refused. "She paid fairly. We signed everything." Mr. Paul got angrier. He told people, "Lena is greedy. She wants everything." But the villagers remembered. They remembered the school, the hospital, the clean water pipes she had built. They began to defend her. "She helped us," they said. "What did you ever do?" Still, Mr. Paul didn't stop. He paid a group of men to break into Lena's land office at night. But Lena was ready. She had cameras everywhere. The next morning, she gave the video to the police. The men were arrested. Mr. Paul tried to run, but the police stopped him. His face was red with shame as they took him away. The village cheered. For the first time, they didn't just see Lena as the rich girl. They saw her as their protector. Lena didn't smile much that day. She just stood under the old tree where people used to laugh at her. She placed her hand on the bark and whispered, "I'm still the same girl. I just grew stronger." Lena walked through the village one quiet morning. The air was cool, and the ground was still wet from the night rain. Children ran past her, laughing and kicking a plastic ball. An old woman waved at her. "Thank you for the medicine last week," she said. Lena nodded and smiled gently. The village was no longer the same. The streets were cleaner. There was a small market where people sold tomatoes, rice, and soap. People didn't fight as much. They were busy building new homes. planting gardens, and sending their children to school. But Lena felt something strange in her heart. Even though she had done so much, she sometimes felt like that barefoot girl again. She still remembered the days when she had to sleep hungry, or when people whispered behind her back, or when her mother cried from pain. Now, her mother was stronger. She had her own room, her own nurse, and she didn't cough all night anymore. Lena had built a house for them, a simple, clean place with a blue roof and flower pots on the windows. One evening, as the sun was going down, Lena sat outside her home with her mother. "You've changed everything," her mother said, looking at the new school in the distance. Lena looked at the village hills, golden in the sunset. "I only started, Mama. There's still more to do." Her mother smiled. "Do you ever miss the days when you had nothing?" Lena was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "I miss the fire it gave me, the hunger to rise. I never want to forget it." Far away, big trucks rolled into the village. New roads were being built. A company wanted to open a factory that would give jobs to the villagers. They had to ask Lena first. She owned the land. She met them under the old tree. "We want to build," they said. "We'll pay rent every month." Lena looked at the contract. "Only if you hire the people of this village first," she said. They agreed. Lena had become more than just rich. She had become a voice that mattered. But then, a letter arrived. It was from the government. They had heard about her success. They wanted her to join a new council, a group of people helping small villages grow. Lena read the letter again and again. Her heart beat fast. "Me?" she whispered. That night, she didn't sleep. She walked to the edge of the village, where the land ended and the road to the city began. She stood in the dark, feeling the wind on her face. Was she ready? She thought about the girl who had followed a stranger, worked for land, slept on the floor, and faced laughter every day. She thought about the girl who had learned about the world in silence, who had studied people, who had bought land with coins, who had protected her name, who had fought back without shouting. She closed her eyes. She was ready. The next morning, Lena packed her bag. "I'll come back," she told her mother. "Where are you going?" her mother asked. "To help other villages," she said. "To teach girls like me that they don't have to stay poor, that they can rise, even if no one believes in them." Her mother nodded slowly. "Then go, my daughter. Light more fires." Lena stepped onto the bus. As it drove away, she looked back one last time. The village she once called cruel now stood tall behind her. It didn't mock her anymore, and ahead of her was a world waiting to be changed. Soft ending here. The story does not end, as Lena's journey to impact more lives is just beginning. If you found this story interesting, please like, share, comment, and subscribe for more.